Today's clinic is Back to School Car Care, and today we're going to go through just a handful of easy projects you can do, steps you can take to make sure you have safe, reliable travel this fall.
Okay, Brian, emergency brakes on, wheels are chocked.
Folks, you're wondering why we're changing a flat without really having a flat. This is one of the most meaningful and easiest preventative maintenance steps you can take with your vehicle. Practice in changing a flat tire right here in your driveway before you've got a problem roadside. If you've ever been stuck roadside with a flat tire, you know it's not a fun thing. Couple easy things to understand, but meaningful ones. Know how the jack works, how to get it out of the vehicle, how the jack handle works, and really where to jack the vehicle up. And Jim, there's a few things to consider there, right?
Here's the owner's manual, and it tells us exactly where we're going to jack the vehicle up. GM has done a real good job explaining this. It's really not hard to do. However, before we even start the jack, what we're going to have to do is loosen up the lug nuts.
That's right.
Otherwise the wheel will just turn on us. It'll be up in the air. And as some people have experienced, they can be very, very hard to get off. So one little trick that you can do when you break those wheel nuts loose is use your leverage of your foot and stand on there, and then that way you'll be able to get them all broken loose, and then we can loosen them all up from this point. I'm going to put the jack right up underneath the jacking point, and this particular GM is where the two frame rails join together. The next thing we'll do is put the jack handle up into this little slot and give it a turn and make sure that we're snugged up, and then I'll put the other part of the jack handle on it and turn until we raise the vehicle up off the ground. This looks like it's coming very well. We don't have to get up real high, just enough to clear the ground so we can remove the tire.
Okay, removing the final lug nut, not hard to do. Now something to remember, today's SUVs and minivans, many of them have big wheels and tires on them. They look great, but they can be a little bit heavy. When you go to remove the flat tire, stand up, get a little leverage, use your back here and legs, slide it off, and now you're back in control of the tire. Go ahead and roll it back under the frame, just added safety, having it under the vehicle, behind the jack. Now it's time to get the spare from the back of the vehicle.
The way that the spare tire is mounted on from vehicle to vehicle may vary somewhat, but on this particular GM, we have a little access door, and we're going to remove the lock and then use the jack handle to access a little port in there. And then by turning the jack handle, we're going to actually lower the spare tire.
This is really a great system, so you don't really have to handle the weight, the full weight of the spare tire. This is basically a hoist that lowers it down onto the ground for you. Another really good idea, since you're practicing this in your driveway and you're not in need right now, is to go ahead and lubricate the cable, the hoist that holds a spare tire. A little WD-40 or PB Blaster does amazing things for preventing rust.
I've given myself enough slack in the cable that I can pull the tire right out behind the vehicle, and it makes unhooking it a whole lot easier.
Okay, we've got the final lug nut snug, and that's all we need to do for this practice. Now, one other great thing you can do is check the tire pressure in your spare while you have it out here. A lot of people never think to do this. Let's face it, you need this guy to get you where you're going, probably to a service shop to take care of that flat. So while you have everything out, go ahead and check it. Make sure you're in good shape, and we are. In fact, while you're at it, go ahead and check all tires for proper pressure before you hit the road this fall.
Sometimes in a roadside emergency, you might actually need something called a roadside emergency repair kit. And I've got one right here that we sell at Advance Auto Parts, and I'd like to show you what's in there. First of all, the packaging is a help sign. You can put that on your windshield or in your back window to summon help if you can't do the job by yourself. Some other things that you'll find in a roadside emergency kit is jumper cables. And we've all been there, and booster cables from time to time are just needed. And it's great to have some handy when you need them. We've also got some Fix-A-Flat in the roadside emergency repair kit. Sometimes you can actually reinflate the tire and fix a small leak yourself without having to change the tire. Here's a road flare, and that will alert oncoming traffic that there's an emergency up ahead. There's also some gloves to keep your hands clean, and some wipe-up towels, and even a Band-Aid or two in case you need that. Here's another help sign. I like this one a lot because it's help on one side and call the police on the other in case of a real emergency. This could come in very, very handy. And there's also a bungee cord in there in case you need to tie something down that's come loose going down the road. Now this may not be for everyone, but here is a tubeless tire repair kit that I like to carry. I've used this more than once. With a big leak, you can actually plug the tire right on the vehicle. You pull out the nail, put a plug in there, use your fix-a-flat to blow it back up again, and you're on your way.
Something a lot of people don't even think about is your door hinges. They take a lot of abuse, especially this time of year with the frequent usage. A little bit of white lithium grease protects the hinges, keeps them from squealing. Do this a couple times a year, you're in good shape. More mandatory gear to keep on board or some type of protectant wipes. If you've got little footprints on the backs of the seats, like you'll find in my car, these wipes can come in handy to not only remove those little footprints when they happen, but also to protect the back of that seat so they won't do any long-term damage.
Another very essential thing you can do is check your fluids. As an example, let's start by looking at the engine oil. This is the dipstick, and it has registers on the bottom, little marks that tell us how much oil is in the engine. And when you need to add some, it'll be at a place below the mark called add. And this oil right here is a real nice, pretty golden brown. And it's not black, and it doesn't need to be changed at this point. And there is enough oil in this engine. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back in.
One more vital fluid to check is your washer fluid. You want to keep that windshield clean in your travels this fall. Easy to do, find a reservoir. Lots of different washer fluids out there now. Just check and make sure if you're in a colder climate, it's good down to below 0 temperatures. Add the appropriate amount, and you're ready to hit the road.
The air cleaner is something that should be checked at least twice a year. And usually it's in a box of some sort. And I've already got the screws loose on this one. And all you have to do is lift the cover up, sort of get it out of the way. And this is what the air cleaner looks like. And this one here is not too bad, although I can see it's getting kind of gray and dark in here. That means it's picking up dirt, and I'm going to want to change that. To do that, all we have to do is get out the new air filter. And I like to compare the old one with the new one just to make sure it's the right size. That looks good. And then I'm just going to put it right back into the box where the old one was. Put the cover back on the top of it. Tighten up the screws, and we're done. Say, Brian, while you're over there, how does the battery look?
You know, it looks pretty good, but it never hurts to get a full charging system check. Your local Advance Auto Parts will do that for you for free. It's very easy to do. They check the whole charging system, and you can be sure then you're not going to have any electrical troubles this fall.
Got yours on, Brian?
Good to go. You know, it's really easy to have wiper blades changed. Advance Auto Parts, any team member will do that for you for free.
Right.
Imperative in the safety equation that you've got good visibility. And don't forget, if you got one of today's SUVs or minivans, many of them have a rear wiper blade.
Right.
Have that changed while you're at it. It's really important to see out the rear as well.